today, but sent me to read his speech and sends his best regards. And I will read it as is. I'm deeply honored to join you at this important national event, the launch of the State of the Judiciary and the Administration of Justice report for the financial year 2024-2025. I convey my sincere appreciation to your leadership for the gracious invitation and for the remarkable stewardship you continue to provide in advancing judicial independence, innovation, and integrity. I must commend the great strides made by the judiciary in digitization, reduction of backlog, and human resource optimization. Justice must be timely, accessible, predictable, and in the words of Aristotle, the law is reason, free from passion, yet timely administration of justice is what gives that reason its true meaning. This annual report is not merely a constitutional requirement. It is an indispensable accountability instrument that strengthens Kenya's democratic fabric. Our judiciary serves the key roles of protecting the promise of democracy, guarding the soul of the Constitution, and building and maintaining public trust in our institutions. This occasion should therefore not be viewed through the narrow lenses of the launch of the report. SOJAR is a mirror that reflects the state of the institutional strength, moral posture, and public trust in the justice system. The report is more than an administrative record. It is a record of progress, a diagnostic tool of the challenges to access justice, and also an invitation for all of us to collaborate and recommit to the constitutional vision of ensuring that justice is seen to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to highlight two critical legislative interventions currently before the National Assembly, initiatives that reaffirm the Parliament's unwavering commitment in strengthening the judiciary. First, as has been noted by the chairperson, or will be noted by the chairperson of JLAC, the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill 2025. This is a historic and long overdue piece of legislation that seeks to safeguard the welfare of our retired judges. A judiciary that attracts and retains men and women of integrity must equally be honored. They must equally be honored upon retirement. The bill is currently at the second reading and benefiting from a robust deliberations to secure the decency of judges of our superior courts in their retirement. The National Assembly is firmly committed to supporting this legislation as it speaks directly to judicial dignity, independence, and institutional continuity. And I must confirm that I was presiding over the House when the deliberations began. Not a single person objected to the bill. And that is usually very unusual for Parliament. Usually we have the naysayers and the ayes, but this time each and every person who spoke on Wednesday supported it absolutely. And we shall continue with debate on Thursday and on Tuesday, and then probably put the question. So you have our commitment, and Parliament has realized that that was grave injustice, that bill wasn't there in the first place for all this time. The second piece of legislation is the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill 2025. The Judiciary Academy has served as an invaluable training and research arm, and this bill seeks to anchor it firmly in law. By doing so, we expect to strengthen the efforts to enhance the skills, the knowledge, and the professionalism of the judicial officers and other justice sector holders. This bill is at the public participation stage, with a report, which report is expected to be tabled shortly, hopefully on Thursday, before we go on recess. Once enacted, it will elevate the Academy into a robust statutory institution, supporting innovation, continuous learning, and excellence. The two bills are practical demonstration of the legislature's support to the judiciary in fulfilling its constitutional mandate. And as we receive SOJAR today, we must remember that the rule of law is shared responsibility. An independent and well-supported judiciary is not a gift. It is a constitutional imperative and a national necessity. As former Chief Justice Al Warren aptly put, justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. And we all agree that the judiciary should also be well-resourced, financially and technologically, and with adequate human resources, will be better positioned to dispense justice efficiently and fairly. Parliament will therefore continue to prioritize adequate and sustainable budgetary allocations to respond to the emerging needs of the judiciary and to foster constructive engagement through the National Council for the Administration of Justice. I'm aware that the judiciary currently operates with only 64% of the establishment, that is 6,979 employees against a requirement of 10,870 personnel. This severe human resource deficit constrains the courts and contributes to backlog, delays, and undermines the clearance rate of our cases, and also undermines innovations such as the small claims court. In the forthcoming deliberations for the financial year 2026-2027 budget, I would urge the judiciary to robustly engage Parliament through the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee for priority allocation of resources for recruitment of additional judges, judicial officers, and staff to significantly address the identified needs. Your Ladyship, as I conclude, the Apostle Luke notes in the good book that to whom more is given, more is expected. As Parliament, we undertake to support the judiciary to achieve its constitutional purpose. As a rider, we must always remember to fulfill the attendant elevated public expectations as a result. All of us must account for every public penny given, and we must not hesitate to denounce and cut corruption to its root. Against this backdrop of the recent adverse comments by the public and practitioners on internal accountability of the judiciary, today's launch presents an invaluable opportunity, and I'm confident that this report and subsequent actions by the judiciary and its partners shall allay the public concerns and affirm the judiciary's commitment to transparency and institutional integrity. I congratulate the judiciary for what I expect to be the launch of another comprehensive and candid report, and on behalf of Parliament, I have reaffirmed our readiness to continue engaging constructively with our sister arm of government. As recently noted during the inaugural joint forum between the legislature and the judiciary, we undertake to prioritize consideration of policy and legislative recommendations contained in the report so as to advance the full realization of the right of access to justice for all. Congratulations again, and I thank you, and it's signed by the Right Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gladys Boss, for the wonderful remarks and the great speech from the speaker. Distinguished guests, I want to apologize for the slight mix-up in terms of protocol. We were actually to have the representative of the JLAC Committee of the National Assembly, Mr. Adan Dawood, representing the chair, to speak, and then the chair of JLAC in the Senate Committee to speak. So kindly accept that apology. Yes. So, Honorable Adan Dawood, kindly, you're welcome to give your remarks.
Thank you very much. Let me also ride on the protocols that has been established. All that I needed to say has been said by my Deputy Speaker regarding what the National Assembly is doing. But let me read the speech of the Chair of JLAC. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to join you in the launch of the State of Judiciary and Administration of Justice Report, SOJAR 2024-2025. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to the organizers of this event for extending an invitation to me and their efforts culminating in today's ceremony. Your Ladyship, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Section 52B of the Judicial Service Act, Cap 8A, mandates that the Honorable Chief Justice present the annual State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice report. Beyond being a statutory report, this report is an essential instrument of transparency, public accountability, and institutional introspection. It enables Parliament, the government, and the Kenyan citizenry to appreciate the judiciary's achievements and ongoing challenges and future inspirations. Your leadership, the Honorable Chief Justice, representatives, allow me to laud your able stewardship of the judicial reforms and your commitments to ensuring access to justice for all Kenyans. This progress, reported each year, reflects dedication, innovation, and hard work of the judges, judicial officers, and staffs of the wider justice sector. In particular, I commend the judiciary's efforts in digitizing court processes, strengthening alternative justice systems, and expanding access to justice in marginalized regions. Honorable Chief Justice, initiatives such as Justice e-filings system and establishment of ICT desks at Huduma centers and court stations have transformed the way citizens interact with the justice system. In addition, the judiciary's heightened awareness and proactive response to pressing societal challenges, particularly the alarming rise of sexual and gender-based violence, are commendable. The establishment of dedicated SGBV courts reflects a compassionate and victim-centered approach to justice, and we thank the judiciary for doing that. Your leadership, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on resource allocation, the SOJAR 2023-2024 highlighted the need for Parliament to appropriate additional resources to enable the hiring of more judges for the Court of Appeal, to raise the number to at least 70. In this current financial year, 2025-2026, judiciary proposed estimates was 26.88 billion. I am pleased to report that through intervention of the Justice Legal Affairs Committee of the National Assembly, the judiciary was allocated 26.937 billion, comprising of 25.237 billion for recurrent expenditure and 1.7 billion for development expenditure. That is an increase of about 0.6 billion for development expenditure. JLAC in the National Assembly remains a partner to the judiciary. Your leadership, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, JLAC is committed to midwifing legislative reforms as already stated by our Deputy Speaker. These reforms include the Tribunal Bill 2025, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2025. It has now been published and is awaiting the first reading. Additionally, JLAC has recommended amendments to the Pensions Act, Cap 189, on judges' welfare, and is now considering the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill 2025 in a comprehensive framework on pension for judges. This bill has already been tabled, as already said by the Deputy Speaker. Your leadership, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, another significant legislative initiative is the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill 2025, which is currently under consideration by JLAC. We shall table our report on that bill next, God willing. With respect to the reforms in the Criminal Justice Center, JLAC has engaged with the National Council on Administration of Justice Working Committee on Criminal Justice Reforms. This engagement has led to proposed amendments of the Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code. In our most recent interaction in October 2025, it was agreed that NCAJ committee will submit a refined legislative proposals for further processing. The proposed amendment incorporate key recommendations of the Judiciary's SOJAR 2023-2024. Your Ladyship, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as a committee responsible for governance and justice sector, Justice Legal Affairs Committee of the National Assembly reaffirm its commitment to continue engaging with the Judiciary to facilitate achievement of social transformation through access to justice. I congratulate the Judiciary for this launch and the milestone I expect to be noted in the report. We shall ensure that the recommendation and priorities outlined in SOJAR are effectively considered by the National Assembly. I thank you. Honorable George Murugara. Asante sana.
Thank you, Honorable Aden Dawood, for the wonderful remarks. As a judiciary, we recognize JLAC as the most consequential legislative and oversight partner, and we continue to appreciate your support. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to now invite Honorable Hilary Sigei, Chair of the Senate Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs, to give his remarks. Karibu sana. Let us clap as we
Thank you very much. The Deputy President, His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Chief Justice and the President of Supreme Court, the judges of Supreme Court, as well as the entire judiciary fraternity, my colleagues, members of parliament present, cabinet secretaries present, all distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, my sincere apologies for coming in late. I should have been here before you. Kindly accept my apology. And I will just go straight to make comments on this wonderful, great day that we have as the justice system in Kenya. It is my pleasure to join the judiciary fraternity today as you officially launch the annual State of Judiciary and Administration of Justice report for the year 2024-2025. This report is a critical reflection of our justice sector's progress and challenges, serving as a valuable tool for continued reform and accountability. Over the past year, Parliament has engaged deeply with key issues affecting the administration of justice. These include the urgent needs to address case backlogs and delays that undermine access to timely justice, the enhancement of judicial independence and integrity, and the strengthening of legal frameworks to protect human rights and promote constitutionalism. Our oversight has also focused on ensuring adequate budgetary allocation to enable the judiciary fulfill its mandate. Honorable Chief Justice, just last week, I tabled in the floor of the Senate the report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of the SOJAR report for the financial year 2023-2024. This followed a highly impactful meeting that was held earlier in the year with the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary and the NCAJ team that deliberated on the report. The report is now scheduled for debate and adoption in the Senate, which is a key avenue for disseminating the report and allowing members of the House as well as members of the public to appreciate and highlight the successes, challenges, and opportunities for enhanced service delivery in the justice system. Of note, Your Excellency Deputy President and the Chief Justice, is that our committee in the Senate underscored in that particular report the need to enhance the budgetary allocation to the judiciary in order to facilitate the recruitment of additional judicial officers and critical cadres of judicial staff, and to facilitate the expansion and modernization of court infrastructure across the country. We also pledged to collaborate with the Judiciary, the Office of the Attorney General, and the National Treasury to put the legislative framework in place for the operationalization of the Judiciary Fund, which will further safeguard the autonomy of the judiciary as envisaged in the Constitution of Kenya. We look forward to meeting with you again early next year once the report that we are launching today has been tabled in Parliament, so that we can go through it in its identical and identify key action areas for Parliament to take action, and as JLAC, we commit to participate fully in that very important process. Your Excellency, the Deputy President and the Chief Justice and distinguished guests, moving forward, there is a clear and growing opportunity for enhanced partnership between Parliament and the Judiciary. Collaboration is essential to foster legislative reforms that support judicial efficiency, embrace technology for improved case management, and safeguard the rule of law. Parliament remains committed to facilitating an enabling environment where the judiciary can operate with full independence and adequate resources. As JLAC of the Senate, we undertake to fully support where we are called upon as a major partner in the justice system. Our shared aspiration is a justice sector that is accessible, transparent, accountable, and responsive to the needs of all Kenyans. We envision strengthened service delivery through innovations such as digitization of court processes, expanded legal aid services, and continuous capacity building for justice sector actors. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, together, Parliament and the Judiciary can drive reforms that cement public confidence and uphold Kenya's constitutional values. Your Excellency, the Deputy President and the Honorable Chief Justice and distinguished guests, in closing, I wish to reaffirm the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of the Senate's readiness to partner with the Judiciary in a spirit of mutual respect and constitutional cooperation. The report we celebrate today is not just a performance scorecard and document. It is a clarion call to deepen our collaboration, tackle the justice gaps, and ensure that our justice system delivers for all Kenyans. The journey ahead will not be easy. The budget deficits, backlog pressures, capacity constraints are formidable. But the progress of the past year in closing cases, expanding access, and deploying technology shows what is possible when commitment meets collaboration. As Parliament, and in particular as Senate, we pledge to remain vigilant, supportive, and constructive. We believe that a strong, independent, well-resourced judiciary is not just the pillar of democracy. It is the guarantee of dignity and the rule of law for every Kenyan. I look forward to this continued partnership as we work collectively towards a just and equitable society. I congratulate you on this day, and I thank you all for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sigei, for the wonderful remarks and commitment to support the judiciary to strengthen service delivery. It is now my privilege and honor to invite Her Ladyship, the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mbete Mwilu, to give her remarks and share her reflections, and in turn invite the Honorable Chief Justice. Karibu sana. We can welcome her with a round of applause.
Thank you, Chief Registrar. Your Excellency, Professor Kindiki, our Deputy President, the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Martha Koome, colleague judges, the Registrar of the Judiciary, the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, my colleagues in the Judiciary, our justice system and development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I extend a warm welcome to you all on this most auspicious occasion. It is a privilege for me to address this distinguished gathering as we reflect on the 2024-2025 State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice Report, popularly known as SOJAR. The SOJAR report is, in a sense, a public audit of our performance during the reporting period, of how faithfully we have honored our mandate to dispense justice to all persons without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. The data shows visible and commendable progress. For example, more cases were resolved than were filed. Courts across all levels have increased productivity, and we are actively leveraging innovations through digital platforms. We are promoting justice and dispute resolution systems, and we are redistributing caseloads through the Mahakama Popote initiative. All of these towards improving our efficiency and effectiveness. But performance cannot be measured by output alone. It must be measured by equity, consistency, and sustainability. Performance must be measured by impact. It is true that performance must be supported by staffing. The institution is operating with less than 2/3 of her approved personnel. Now, this structural shortage stretches human capacity, it fuels delay, and it risks burnout. It is neither sustainable nor constitutionally acceptable, and thank you, Parliament, for your promises. However, as the judiciary continues to advocate for more resources, we must internally confront inefficiencies, we must improve our operations, and we must institutionalize continuous capacity building, judicial, administrative, to optimize the abundant talents that we have. Friends, if performance is the body of the judiciary, then integrity has got to be its soul. Without it, no achievement, no innovation, and no reform can command public trust. This year saw several commendable steps. We've seen stronger disciplinary systems. We've seen clearer ethical frameworks. We've seen enhanced oversight mechanisms and new integrity structures, such as the court integrity committees and the employee protection unit. These are meaningful reforms. They show a judiciary willing to scrutinize itself. However, we must acknowledge with candor that integrity risks still persist. Some arise from individual misconduct, others from systemic vulnerabilities, and still others from resource constraints that create pressure points where ethical breaches become tempting. The bar of public expectation is high, as it should be. We must ensure that complaints handling systems work consistently across stations, that disciplinary processes are predictable and fair, that corruption risks are mapped and mitigated before they escalate beyond reach. Our commitment to integrity must be absolute, not rhetorical. Integrity must be visible in courtroom behavior, in registry interactions, in procurement, in the use of judicial time, and in the stewardship of public resources. It must be the culture of this institution, not merely its aspiration. Friends, in short, we have progressed, but not evenly, and not yet sufficiently. Whilst the judiciary is implementing reforms that bring justice closer to the people, such as expanded fiscal infrastructure, operationalizing more courts, strengthening tribunals, promoting alternative justice systems, and deepening the use of technology in all aspects of our operations, the data in the SOJAR report must push us to reflect more critically. Fiscally, the fiscal expansion must not outpace staffing. And technology, though transformative, must not endanger digital divides and exclusion. Importantly, they must be reliable and serve the users both externally and internally. At the heart of the SOJAR report is one solemn prerogative: accountability to the sovereign in the exercise of judicial authority. And the sovereign is the people of Kenya. This constitutional imperative is framed by Articles 1, 10, and 159 of the 2010 Constitution, and it is augmented under Section 52B of the Judicial Service Act. The SOJAR report is not presented today for mere informational purposes, nor do we seek platitudes. We do not seek congratulations or praise. We seek honest, critical, and constructive dialogue involving all stakeholders on the form and substance of justice provision in our country. Practical and productive feedback on how we can co-produce impactful and sustainable interventions that will result in tangible justice dividends for all Kenyans. That is what we seek. We have the situational analysis as presented in our SOJAR report this year, and we must deepen meaningful engagement towards improving justice provision for all the people of Kenya. The SOJAR report provides a detailed snapshot of the status of the judiciary as it frames the justice context from the judiciary's perspective. It is also an invitation for support and engagement towards the realization of the people-centered justice vision as contained in our institutional compass, the STAJ blueprint. We are acutely cognizant of our shortcomings and our capacity vis-a-vis the expectations of Kenyans for a judiciary that facilitates and supports the aspirations of all Kenyans. How we maximize our strengths exploit our existing and potential opportunities, how we address our challenges and weaknesses, and importantly, how we ensure resilience and sustainability will require support from across the justice sector and from all our stakeholders. The SOJAR report provides a critical baseline in that regard. Friends, our progress is real and our challenges are significant. Our resolve must be unwavering, therefore. Let us together recommit ourselves to a judiciary and justice system that is not only effective but exemplary, not only efficient but ethical, and not just accessible but transformative. God bless all of us here present. God bless the judiciary of Kenya, and God bless the Republic of Kenya. It's now my pleasure to welcome the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic and the President of the Supreme Court to give us her address. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my sister, the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Your Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, my dear friend and brother, the Honorable Dunstan Mulamba, Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Gladys Bos-Chole, our Deputy Speaker, representing the Right Honorable Speaker, Dr. Moses Wetangula, Honorable Hilary Sigei, my colleague, Justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court and Courts of Equal Status, judicial officers, directors and staff, our development partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our guests this morning, good morning. Good morning again. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence to launch this year's SOJAR report. Before I go to my speech, because I've been given this segment of the program to learn, I wish to call two dear friends, beginning with my friend, the Honorable Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Madam Harris Wahome. She is one of us. She has practiced law for many, many years. I just want her to greet us. I know she is seeking permission from His Excellency, the Deputy President, but I am here. This is my time now. I want her to greet us because she is in charge of our key Ministry of Lands. We live on land. Our courts are in land. And therefore, she knows the reason why I want her to greet us this morning. Welcome.
Freds don't ambush each other. I am thoroughly ambushed by my good friend, the Honorable the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court. All protocols observed. My Deputy President is here, and he's officially the one giving the speech. And he asked me which side I am. I think I have been betrayed also. Good morning. I really don't have a speech, and I did not expect to come here, but I want to confirm that I know that my ministry is the largest, maybe, occupant in terms of the register of cases throughout the country, and we continue seeing very good jurisprudence coming up, and yes, we ought to be maybe doing much better, but all efforts are being done by the government and put in place in terms of funding also, so that we can reduce the cases that are coming even to the judiciary for litigation. That obviously means that we must do automation. We must complete our ADISASA system. The National Land Information and Management System needs to be complete, and that will secure the land tenures, everything, our security of documents. And therefore, Honorable Chief Justice, I also know that this particular, maybe from this wall up to there, you have been waiting for titering of the judiciary plot, but not just yourself, actually also the COMESA. We are evaluating, and I know I gave a commitment, and I have been charged by the Deputy President to make sure that we complete that exercise. I want to confirm that we are working on it, and we cannot, of course, be the ones fighting the judiciary in terms, you don't have, in fact, enough space, and therefore we will continue working with you. Thank you for the efforts, the work you do in terms of land cases, but I want to plead that in most cases, if the courts were to call for records of the ministry, the record for land in every other parcel, you will get an answer there, because those that have been alterated, those that have been fraudulently altered, the chief land registrar should give the solution and assist the judiciary coming up with the right answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Judges wanted to hear that, especially when we will receive our title for this plot, because they have been asking me and I did not have an answer. Thank you very much. My next special guest, with your permission, Your Excellency, our Deputy President, is the Deputy Chief Justice of South Africa, Justice Mlamba. I request you, my brother, I know we ambushed you from a conference you are attending to grace this occasion, and I want you to share a few remarks before I give my speech. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Your Excellency, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, you will excuse me for adopting this line of observing protocols. I'm a peregrinus of this jurisdiction, so I don't want to try and emulate what you are doing in terms of observing the protocol, because I don't want to spoil it. But I want to say, please allow me, Honorable Chief Justice, to ride on all the protocols that have already been observed. It is a distinct honor for me to join you today on this important occasion, marking the annual presentation of the Kenya State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice report. Please allow me to express my appreciation to you, as well as the appreciation of my leader, Honorable Chief Justice Mandi Samaya, who is your friend, Honorable Chief Justice, to be part of this program. I must also acknowledge the long-standing spirit of collaboration and mutual respect between the South African and Kenyan judiciaries, which has fostered valuable exchanges. I also convey warm greetings from my Chief Justice, as I say, and she will be doing the same thing in a few days' time, next week. So, and she instructed me, not directed me, to take full notes of what you are doing today. It is remarkable that the judiciary of Kenya has firmly demonstrated that it is serious about accountability, especially after its far-reaching constitutional reforms of 2010, which entrenched judicial independence and accountability. The The occasion today, therefore, is not merely ceremonial. It is a mechanism for transparency to affirm institutional independence and, in so doing, reinforce public trust in the administration of justice. I therefore commend you, Honorable Chief Justice Martha Koome, that whilst you fiercely promote and defend judicial independence, you have demonstrated your exemplary leadership by embracing judicial reporting in a public, evidence-based and reflective process. Under your leadership, the Kenyan judiciary has made serious strides in being the pallbearer of good practice in this region. I do not want to take much of your time. I just want to say to you, my Honorable Chief Justice said, I must congratulate you and congratulate the judiciary of Kenya for this milestone and to let you know that we are not far behind. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Let us appreciate the Deputy Chief Justice of South Africa for gracing this occasion and for those very, very kind words of encouragement. Before I speak, also, I want to recognize the distinguished members of the National Council on the Administration of Justice. Please be upstanding. We recognize you, all the members of NCAJ. Thank you very much for coming. You are a very critical cog in the administration of justice, and we value the support that you give to the judiciary to keep the wheels of justice moving. I also want to recognize in a very, very special way our development partners who are present here with us this morning. Please, if you can be upstanding. I know you will have a chance to speak, but I want our chief guest, before he leaves, to see the people who encourage us, who support us, even when the storms are so high. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, I want to thank you most sincerely for honoring us with your presence. I know how tight your program is. His Excellency, the President, was supposed to be here, but I had him negotiate with you so that you could hold this brief this morning, and we are so, so grateful that you were able to spare time to come and launch for us the SOJAR report. I also want to thank the representatives of various arms of government, agencies in the justice sector, our development partners, and stakeholders for joining us for the presentation of the State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice report for the financial year 2024-2025. Your presence here today reflects a shared national commitment to all of us strengthening the rule of law and advancing the administration of justice. This occasion marks an important moment in our democratic calendar. The SOJAR report is not simply a statutory requirement, like other speakers who have spoken said. It is a constitutional duty anchored in the values of transparency, accountability, and public participation. Through it, the judiciary provides a candid account of the work we have done in the past year, how we have exercised judicial authority, the progress achieved, how we have utilized the resources given to the judiciary. We account for the challenges we have encountered along the way and the reforms that we wish to undertake. This annual report reinforces the judiciary's transparency, accessibility, and accountability as an independent arm of government. It is through such mechanisms that we keep faith with the sovereign will of the Kenyan people, where we remain open to scrutiny and continue to engage Kenyans so that we can build public trust in the administration of justice. The theme of this year's report, Enhancing Accountability and Public Trust in the Judiciary, speaks to our institutional focus on enhancing public trust, which is the lifeblood of any justice system. Without it, even the most sophisticated courts cannot command confidence, obedience, or legitimacy. For this reason, the judiciary has continued to strengthen the integrity of our systems, deepen internal accountability, to improve performance management, to widen access to justice, and to accelerate implementation of the social transformation through access to justice blueprint. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's SOJAR demonstrates the progress we have made in building an accountable, people-centered justice system. Justice belongs to the people. Everybody wants to experience fairness and justice. Therefore, we have undertaken institutional reforms aimed at enhancing the enforcement of ethical standards, protecting the public from misconduct, and ensuring that every judge, judicial officer, and staff members, all of them uphold the highest ideals of professionalism as detailed by the speech by the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice, who is in charge of performance and disciplinary matters, especially for our judicial officers and staff. In advancing public trust, communication and openness remain essential. We strengthened the institutional communication through the establishment of the Judiciary Spokesperson's Office, operationalization of the Judiciary Call Center, and held the inaugural Judiciary Dialogue Day, a milestone participatory platform where we invited citizens in all the court stations. We invited partners and stakeholders where they engaged directly with judges, judicial officers, and staff across the court stations in the country. In addition, our court stations held open days, breaking down barriers between the courts and the communities they serve, and enhancing transparency and accountability at the grassroots levels. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, our guests, access to justice also improved significantly during the last financial year through expansion of the judiciary's physical and digital footprint. We continued to grow judicial presence across the country by operationalizing new courts and sub-registries. These include a new Court of Appeal sub-registry in Garissa, bringing the total number of the Court of Appeal sub-registries to 6. We also operationalized 2 High Court stations in Isiolo and Makandara, and 5 additional High Court sub-registries, ensuring the presence of the High Court in all the 47 counties. Please clap for that. We also operationalized 6 new magistrates' courts, bringing the total number of magistrates' courts to 143 in 133 constituencies. We also handed 3 new small claims courts, increasing the number of small claims courts to 40 We also enhanced the Environment and Lands Court's capacity by establishing a new appeals division in Nairobi. The transition of the Retirement Benefits Appeals Tribunal to the Judiciary raised the number of tribunals under our administration to 27 out of 43 shared services centers for tribunals in Nairobi and Kisumu to enhance access to justice through tribunals and to optimize resources. Your Excellency, beyond establishing new courts, we strengthened the reach of justice through mobile courts, where 59 mobile courts were in operation, which brought services to remote areas. And through these mobile courts, we have registered 7,872 new cases and resolved 6,751. The Judiciary also expanded the court-annexed mediation, establishing 14 new court-annexed mediations registries, bringing the total number of court-annexed mediation registries to 82 across the country. While alternative justice systems, AJS, county action plans were launched in 6 additional counties, bringing the total number of counties where the AJS policy is being implemented to 12 at the end of the financial year. These alternative pathways reduce adversarial litigation. They also restore relationships and reduced pressure on the formal court system. Ladies and gentlemen, efficiency remained a hallmark of our court operations in the last financial year, culminating in a historic case clearance rate of 104%, with 621,000 cases filed as compared to 647,000 in the resolved in the same year. Pending cases reduced by 3%, while backlog defined as cases older than 1 year dropped by an impressive 30%, especially at the High Court and the Magistrates Court. An analysis of case filings during the year revealed an 80% overall decline in criminal cases, and the police are very happy with that, and a 58% increase in civil cases compared to previous year. This increase in civil cases was largely driven by the small claims courts, which recorded a staggering 58% increase in case filings, reflecting its success as a transformative engine of access to justice for individuals and small businesses. Through Mahakama Popote initiative, which Your Excellency is our own innovation, you never left this when you practiced, we were able to redistribute 19,000 cases from high volume courts to stations with lower case loads, resulting in the resolution of 14,000 matters through this initiative, and therefore proving that digital innovation can democratize case management and reduce delays. Digitization has been a major pillar of our reform agenda. We accelerated automation of judicial services through expansion of the case tracking system, adoption of AI-enabled speech-to-text transcription, and enhancement of digital infrastructure to cover 177 court stations and offices nationwide. In addition, we launched the Judiciary mobile application, which has enabled us to improve accessibility of our services by enabling litigants to track their cases, obtain updates, and access information in real time, especially obtaining dates and the mentions of their cases. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, human capital remains the backbone to your transformation. The judiciary's workforce, as has been mentioned, stands at 6,979 employees, representing 64% of the approved establishment. The increasing number of stations and expanding jurisdictions demands urgent need for additional staffing to sustain improvements in access to justice and maintain high standards of service delivery. Yesterday, we went to Parliament to listen to the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. We had to run away, me and the Deputy Chief Justice, because the members of Parliament are reaching out to us to open a court in their constituencies. And we don't have money to open. So we told them to allocate us money, and then we'll be able to hire staff, because they said they can even build the court for us. However, the achievements in increased case clearance rate have been realized in the context of significant financial constraint, as detailed by the Chief Registrar. These financial constraints continue to affect our infrastructure development, our digitization, because our servers now are growing old, and because of the overload. If there is anything that keeps me up at night, makes me lose sleep, is to imagine that we are going to lose the gains we have made in digitization. We also need to recruit judges, judicial officers, also for the tribunals, and we need to increase our capacity in terms of training and other operational capacities. In addition to launching the SOJAR today, we are also launching or unveiling the Social Transformation Through Access to Justice Blueprint Simple Guide, one which is user-friendly, one which can be a simple companion, and one that distills the core ideas, vision, and priorities of STAJ. We want this to be accessible in this format for public consumption. This guide is designed to demystify our judicial reforms agenda. It's also meant to clarify the judicial transformation journey and empower judges and judicial officers, staff and citizens, our partners, our stakeholders and justice actors understand in a meaningful manner what STAJ is all about, and also to participate in our people-centered justice agenda. This simplified guideline reflects our commitment to transparency, civic education, and ensuring that Kenyans not only access justice, but also comprehend the systems, the processes, and the values that animate it. By providing clear explanations of the outcomes, strategies, and priorities that we are pursuing, and the role of each actor in strengthening justice delivery, the guide serves as a practical tool for fostering partnership and accountability in this reform journey in Kenya and beyond. In conclusion, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the SOJAR report affirms that the judiciary continues on a steady path of transformation, becoming more efficient, more transparent, more accessible, more responsive to the needs of the people of Kenya. Our progress is the result of dedication of judges, judicial officers, and staff, and the invariable support that we receive of our partners across the government, civil society, professional bodies, and the private sector. I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation to all of them who have contributed to last financial year's milestone. This is work of our collective efforts that has taken us this far. And with those remarks, it is now my honor and privilege to invite His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kindiki, to deliver his speech. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Asante sana. I would have used that one also. Chana ma protocol mingi. Good morning. My Lady Chief Justice Mother Koome, President of the Supreme Court. It is true that this event was supposed to be graced by His Excellency the President. It is also true that he told you and explained why he could not come. It's also true that through your intervention, he asked me to come and represent him. However, my lady, as good lawyers say when they want to disagree with a judge, with great respect, the president did not negotiate with me, and the president cannot negotiate with me to come here. He directed me and instructed me to come. But as I've said, with deep respect. Now, I'm happy to be here in a very familiar territory. I recognize all the protocols of all the dignitaries present, both from the judiciary, the representatives of the executive, and the representatives of the legislature, the diplomatic people, and the justice sector players. Please, I appreciate each one of you. My Lady Chief Justice, did you notice that the 4 people who are sitting on your left, 2 of them representing the executive, the other 2 representing the 2 houses of parliament, did you notice all the 4 of them are officers of the court? That's how powerful you are. And so we will behave ourselves accordingly. In fact, we were consulting there when I was talking to my sister there, Minister for Lands. I was asking her on which side, where are we? Are we in court or where? We need to understand how we behave. So we are glad to be here. The judiciary, not just in Kenya, is a very powerful institution. It helps democracy to operate within the rules and to interpret those rules. But my Lady Chief Justice, great power comes with great responsibility. So it is hoped, even as you launch the report and assess yourself as you deliver services to the people of Kenya. You will also reflect on your responsibility to the people of Kenya, because great power comes with great responsibility. I will not really give a speech. I see some people brought me a speech here. I don't need the speech, because what I want to do today is just to give a few reflections. Because sometimes when you have a moment like this, you don't want to, you just want to be as natural as possible so that you can give your best. So let me just say that this administration came into office at a time when there was an institutional confrontation between the executive and the judiciary. The executive had declined to swear in 6 judges who had been hired to serve in the Court of Appeal. President William Ruto, in his inauguration speech in Kasarani, promised that upon taking oath of office, he will swear those 6 judges, which he did, I think, the following day. From that moment, there has been no doubt that this administration believes, supports, and affirms the place and stature of the judiciary in our democracy. Allow me, my lady, the Chief Justice, distinguished guests, to also point out 3 other things that this administration has done to demonstrate goodwill and commitment to affirming the place and posture of the judiciary in our democracy. 1, this administration is the administration that has sworn in the highest number of judges of superior courts within 3, and if you extend it, 4 years. Other than in 2003, when we had many judges taking oath of office under the new constitution, there is no other administration which in 3 years the head of state has sworn as many judges of the Supreme Court. And therefore I take pride to be associated with the progress we've made to try and increase the wherewithal of the judiciary to deliver services to the people of Kenya by providing the necessary support and resources to make sure that we increase the number of judicial officers and judges. And so far, 51 judges have been sworn in, judges of the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and also the Environment and Land and Environment Court. Another 40 are in the process of being recruited, and another 45 will be recruited next year. So we are on a good trajectory. This administration also has facilitated the JSC to recruit 114 magistrates, and another 100 magistrates are currently being recruited, bringing a total to 214 in 3 or 4 years. Secondly, the budget. The 2022 budget for the judiciary was at 21 billion shillings. The current budget, the Chief Justice has confirmed to me, is at 26 billion shillings. It is not enough, but there is modest progress. The Chief Justice has also whispered to me that the judiciary will be presenting a supplementary budget request. The executive, working with Parliament, will support that request. The third thing that this administration has done is to operationalize the Judiciary Fund, which has not been operationalized for 13 years until 2023. It may not be optimal. There are a few things we need to look at in terms of both the amount but also the mechanisms of the judiciary accessing and managing that money independently. And some of the constraints are coming from other independent offices which are also flexing their mandate. And we have undertaken to mediate, oversee a smooth understanding amicably between the judiciary and the other independent offices involved in the disbursement of money to make sure that that fund is used independently, accessed independently, as it is supposed to be by the judiciary. So there is work in progress. And lastly, because I don't want to speak forever, is the judges' retirement law. When I accompanied the president here, some times back, I can't remember what was that. I think it was Supreme Court at 12. When the Supreme Court was entering teenage, I came here accompanying the president. And when we sat in the office of the Chief Justice, there were 4 issues that the judiciary, and I know my Lady Justice Ndungu was there, Justice Philomena Mwilo, Deputy Chief Justice, was there in that meeting, my big brother, Justice Ouko, was in that meeting. There are 4 issues that the judiciary raised that they needed support from the executive to actualize. Some of them have been actualized, and the remaining ones will be actualized because we've discussed and agreed. One of it was the judges' retirement law. And I know the president directed me to fast track the conclusion of that law, which I did. I managed to convene, on behalf of the president, the National Treasury, SRC, the Attorney General. That law was taken to Cabinet. Cabinet approved. We took it to Parliament. That law will be passed in the next few days. That is a demonstration of goodwill, because it is wrong for people who have served the country in the esteemed office of judge to retire into poverty where they cannot even access medical treatment, where they cannot even move. They are walking in old age after serving so many years.